Okay. Can somebody tell me in English how to find the average of a set of numbers? So let's say I had...
Add them all up, divide them. Or divide the amount of numbers. Like add them all up and divide them.
Add them all up. I like it. So in English, it's add them all up. Divided by... Yes, still chapter 2. Oh, yeah. Chapter 2's got a lot in it. Section, I don't know. I think it's 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. I like it. So add them all up and then divide by, in this case 4, but in general, the number of data points. I like it. All right. Now math people, especially me, because I can't write too well, we don't like to write so much. We like to have shorthand to represent ideas of stuff to do. So whenever I see add them all up, I'm going to replace that with the Greek letter, in fact, the capital Greek letter, S, because the official name for add, of course, is sum. So we went, let's use S. Okay. So we're going to write this as the sum. The symbol by itself don't mean shit. It's like if I said to you, okay, do this real quick. Add up. What are you guys doing? You're like, what? So this means add up. So what represents all the possible numbers? What represents all the data at once? X. I love it. Sum up all the data values.
No.
And then divide by. Remember n came up earlier in the calculator? N is 20 for that thing. It's the number of things we're working with. I like it. There's our first little equation. This is the equation for the mean. And the symbol for the mean, let's say this is a population. Is this a large population? Is this population large?
No.
Population does not have to be large. It's just whatever the total group is. Right? In this case, my total group is 4. I'm going to take a sample from those 4. This is the population. The symbol for the mean would then be, get ready. This is our second Greek letter, mu. It's like U that grew an extra leg. I know it looks like M. I know it does. But it's not. It's the Greek letter. It sounds like a French cow. Right? Mu. It's my own. That's just for me. It makes me laugh. That's all I care about. All right. How are we doing so far? So what's interesting is what we'll notice is for a few situations we use Greek letters to mean population. Like anybody ever watch any football? Anybody ever watch Super Bowl? Even just for the commercials, right? Even though they sucked the last year. What do they have? If it was Super Bowl 40 something, didn't they have big ass Roman numerals, right? To make it, yeah, we're not going to say 48. We're going to say XXX, blah, blah, blah. Right, so they had these Roman numerals come down, graphically made out of stone. Like, and of course for Super Bowl 50, it was L. That's the Roman numeral for 50. Not so impressive. One giant L. L. It's like, no. So, mu is Greek letter, population. If I had a sample, the symbol I would use is X bar. We saw that earlier in the calculator when we did that 1 var stats. I don't know if you guys remember, the very first thing you had up there was X bar. This is how you say this, X bar. Like it? It's now a bookstore. It used to be a bar. So this, still the same formula, but it just means it represents a sample. So of course this would be a parameter, this would be a statistic. Kick-ass. I like it, I like it. So in this case, what would X bar be? I mean, I call this a population, so what would mu be? What's the sum of all these? 49 divided by 4. It's my one skill. I've got to show them. All right, how we all feel? I mean, I want you to realize most of mathematics is just shorthand symbols that were chosen that you all have to catch up with. So I like to tell people math is a foreign language. It is. And sometimes we actually just borrow symbols from other languages to make our language. Yes? Yes. Mu is a population mean. X bar is a sample mean. But notice, it's not that huge of a deal at the moment, because if this was a sample, what would the mean have been? Still freaking 12.25, but then I would have identified this as X bar. Okay, it's going to become important later. So the average is the same idea as always. This is our first official little formula that you don't even really need, because it's such a basic idea. Add them all up, divide by the minute they are. Let's focus on this summation symbol for a minute, because it's going to dominate our lives for a lot of this class. So let's just look at it by itself, because some of you guys maybe have never even seen this before, or you thought it was just for sororities or something. Come join Sigma, Sigma, Sigma. Right? Of course, sororities, let's use Greek letters because we're like amazing. Shut up. Okay. Sorry, if you want to join one, go ahead. Have fun. So let's just look at this symbol. So let me show you something. The way we're going to see data for a lot of this class is going to be in a little table like this. So if I ask you, I'll give you that data and I ask you what's the sum of x, what's the sum of x? 25. I like it. What if I ask you this? That is not, by the way, let me just stop you. That is not 25 squared. Hell no. What is that asking? Cover the sum symbol. Cover it. What do I need to know before I can add them up? I need to know a bunch of x squares. Do I have a bunch of x squares yet? All right, let me go make them. What's this asking me to do? Add up all the x squares. I ain't got them yet. All right, let me go get it. You guys starting to see what I'm saying? You're going to see this symbol in a bunch of formulas. How do you handle it when you see it? Cover it. Make those, add them up. Yes, maybe, no. So depending on where you came from, your teacher might have shown you this symbol, you might have done a little bit with it, or today is the first day you're doing anything with it. I don't know. So of course, what's going to go here? Yeah. Yeah, like it. Remember that Pascal's triangle? There's 11 squared. There's 11 to the first. There's 11 to the 0 power. Oh shit. All right, sorry. So now what's the sum of x squared? Is it 219? Yes. Yay. Jeff can add. All right, let me throw one at you and you work on it for a minute. See if you can get this. The same way we just did this one. What kind of column do you need now? Yeah. So what's x plus 2? 3, 6, 11, 13. And now that I've got a bunch of those, see how I got a bunch of those? I can add them up. 33. So she said, 33. 33, all right. You become a 3. Real quick, how many data points did I have? 4. I increased them all by 2, so that's a total of 8 more. 8 plus 25 is 33. Yeah. Sorry. And so it makes sense. Huh?
Because it's in parentheses.
No. Yeah. This is the sum of a bunch of these. Yeah. This is not, it's sort of like, how do you read this? Remember function notation? How do you read that? I like it. How you interpret it? The value of x is 3. How do you read that? F of 3. And I love my students who would get here and then they would divide by 3. No. So you had square root of x equals 11. So let me divide by the square root symbol. There you go. Okay. All right, sorry. So it's not times, it's of. It's a function. What's that function do? Add up what? Whatever's inside of it. So let me give you 2 quick ones. You shouldn't have to do any table work for these. What am I squaring on this one? Yes, I'm squaring the sum. Do you see the difference here? This is the sum of the squares of x's. Oh shit, this is the square of the sum of the x. I know what that is, 25. What's 25 squared? Kick ass. And this one just says add 2 to 25 and they get 27. Yay. Okay. We're not going to see that kind of thing very often. That's why I threw it at the end. We're going to see this kind of thing in the formulas where I have to make a list of things and then I can add it up like it wants. Okay. So one measure of center. This is the section we're in, the measures of center. One measure of center is what we think of as average. What we know now is actually technically the mean, right? And that's this little. So one measure of center is the mean. So we call that it's mu or x bar based on if you have a population sample. Another, you don't like that? Sorry. So it could be mu equals that, or it could be x bar equals that, depending on if you have a population or a sample. The work doesn't change, just the symbol we use changes to designate that it's a different kind of group. Okay. What? Let me ask you this. If you were going to go work at a company, and let's say this company has 3 people that work there and then a CEO. So this is the salaries in thousands of dollars. You with me? Little lemonade stand that's really hit it big. 3 people and then the one 8-year-old that's the boss. Right? Squeeze those lemons. So making $450,000 a year for this lemonade. It's awesome lemonade. Let's say that you're interested in this job and you meet these people and you're like, I know there's a job opening. What's it like working there? How much money can I expect to make? You don't have to tell me your salary, but give me an idea how much money I would expect to make. If I take the average of these, is that a good number to tell this person? No. What is the average of these? Somebody help me out. $554 divided by 4 is, do it again. 130 something, yeah. 138.5. So in other words, $138,500. If you tell this guy that and you're like, I took statistics, average is good. That's what my professor said. But no, that's just one possible way to measure the center of data. The mean will always be affected the most by outliers. Outliers. So I have one number that's way big. The mean gets skewed way in that direction. It's like this guy has a gravitational pull and it pulled the mean way up. So I don't want to use the mean in this case. I don't want it. I want to use something else to figure out the middle. I want to use something called, what's in the middle of the road? The median. So we call it, so it's the median. I love you guys. The median is the number that's in the middle of all the numbers.
Why can't you just, take
So I could, obviously this is a unrealistic example. There's probably 800 employees and like 5 or 6 higher ups, and then maybe a couple that are making stupid amounts of money. So it's not, so you're right. I'm just trying to show you in general, why should there be another way to measure the center? Something else in San Diego, for example, that if you read the paper ever, you know they still make a newspaper. You know that? If you ever read the paper or see anything about house prices, home prices, they don't say average home price. They say median home price. Why? Walk around La Jolla sometime. Gaze, I'd like to walk down there and go, that's beautiful. I'll never live there. But that is beautiful. Maybe they'll invite me over someday. Right? So median is used to give a better feel of the middle data when you have outliers either up or down. So if I have a huge selection of data and there's no way to tell ahead of time what to throw out, then I want to use the median. I want to calculate the median. Because then I don't have to throw anything out. The median doesn't care about what's happening at the ends. It only cares about in the middle. Does that make sense? Anybody know another name for median based on something we did earlier today? Beautiful. Yeah, this is also Q2, which is also P50. Right? It's the middle data number. Doesn't matter what the values are, it just matters which one's in the middle. That's why it's not affected by outliers, because it doesn't give a shit what the values are. Can't like it. What would the median be here? What do you think? Is there a middle number? No, there's 2 middles. So of course, what do I do in that case? Average those. So and here's the symbol for median. I don't think I've written this down yet. X tilde. It's like the X bar that had a rough night at the bar. So his little hat's all crooked. It's been beat up. So what is the median in this case? 37, which means $37,000. So if I tell the guy you can expect to make $37,000, that's a good estimate. That's a good thing to tell. Instead of $138,500. No. You with me? A little bit?
Why you 37?
Say again?
Why 37?
What's in the middle of these two? So you can either add them up divided by 2. Or these are 6 apart, right? So what's halfway? 3 up. 37. Yes?
Obviously this is easy because it's like only 4, but say you had like a whole bunch of numbers, how would you
So then you just,
do the
you ready?
percentile thing?
Totally. For small set, I just find the middle. If there's 5, there's a middle. If there's 4, if there's an odd number of things, there will always be a middle. If there's an even number of things, I'm going to have to average 2. Cool. I like it. But if I get like too many things, I just go back and do it the way we did this one, right? Take half if it's an even number, odd number, I mean a whole number, decimal number, right? Okay. Yes, all right. Sort of. So I want to make sure you make sense that why this exists. It's actually something we've done before, and it's another measure of center. Okay, I like it. So what about, well, let's see. So I mean, obviously, what would the median be here? Well, maybe not so obvious. What's the median? The answer is not 2. Why? What's the evil I did up there?
Not in order.
It's got to be in order to make any sense. Otherwise, I can just tell somebody whatever the shit I want. How much money can I expect? Let me move this guy. You can expect that much. No. What the shit? So, to be honest, I have to put in an order. Now, what is the median? Not now what it is. It's still 4. I just couldn't see it before. All right, I like it. And that was 5 numbers, odd number. There will be an answer that is a data point. There will be something in the middle. I like it. All right. So that's the median. Looks like that, dude. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. This one's a little bit harder to get a hold of. But do you notice what kind of data does this work for so far? There's 2 main kinds, the ones that start with Q's, not Q and Q2, but the Q words. This only works with quantitative. That's the only stuff I can do. Divide and add and all this kind of shit. right? I need to find a way that will work for numbers and qualitative data. That would be a measure of center, right? The shit would that be? So it's called the mode, and it's the thing that occurs the most. So if I looked at all the hair colors, and the hair color that occurs the most is brown, that's sort of a measure of center. Most people cluster around brown. I like it. So for qualitative data, it's just the thing that occurs the most. If I went out there and wrote down all the cars that I see, the mode would be the car type that occurs the most. So this is the only measure of center that also works for qualitative data. So what's it look like when it's quantitative data that still works? So for example, what's the mode here? Oh, what could it be?
3.
That's amazing, right? What's the mode here? No mode. Beautiful. There's just no mode, right? I like it.
That's the only type that works with qualitative?
Out of the ones we've done so far, yeah, that's the only one that works with qualitative. Because it doesn't require adding or dividing or anything. If I said add up all the hair colors in here and divide, yeah. Teach. What has happened?
What if there's 2 sets of...
I love it. All right, so notice how this is example 1. It is now. Here's example 2. So this one was mode equals 3. What's the mode here? Does anybody win?
2 and
There, there's a tie. So it's called bimodal. Like bicycle. Yes?
So now if you had 2 4s,
You ready? Yeah. What do you think that would be? If there were 3 that tied, that would be...
trimodal.
Oh my God. And beyond that, we just go, screw it. I almost said something else. Screw it. There's no mode. We go up to trinomial. I'm sorry. Trimodal. Well, I was about to reference it. Do you guys remember monomial, binomial, trinomial? And then we went, screw it. We're done. So everything else is just poly. Holy shit. So this one's could have 1 mode, 2 modes, 3 modes, or it doesn't seem to be clustering anywhere if there's more than that. It's trying to get a feel for where the data seems to be clustering the most. Yes?
so there's 4 more than the mode.
Yeah, all right. So this has got mode. This is bimodal, 2 and 3. So let's say I had another one that looked like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. That would be trimodal. What would this be? No mode. It's like, good Lord. Right, there's just, so I'm trying to get a feel. So this is a different beast. These two I can kind of make sense, computational makes sense, but the way that this works with numbers is it's trying to see where the numbers seem to be clustering. And if they're clustering in more than 3 places, they're not really clustering anywhere. I want that to kind of make sense. So when I grade a test, I could have, I could have 71, 92, 84, 71, 82, 71, 42, 71, 71, 50. I'm going to go, why in the shit? Maybe all those people made the exact same mistakes for whatever reason. So discovering the mode gives me a feel for where things are clustering, and then I can go see if that's an issue, or did they just happen to miss the same ones that cost the same amount of points? Do you see what I'm saying? A little bit? Yes.
That still wouldn't be a mode because it's not in order, right?
No, no. Do you notice how the mode didn't give a shit what order the data's in?
Okay.
Good. I happen to put them in order here just so I can see it easier, but I don't need the data in order. I can just see who occurs the most. I like
so
it.
only for the median and the mean?
Well, the mean, it doesn't have to be in order either.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
The median is all about where things are relative to everybody else, so they better all be in this right place. I like it. We all doing okay? You guys all right? All right. Let's see, where am I? Oh, okay. There's one last measure of center. Oh, actually, let me do one more mode thing for you. What do you guys think about this one? It gives some different numbers. What's the mode? Good. All right, good. There's a clear winner. Don't just list everybody as repeats. Who won? 8 won. So this would be a unimodal. This is just one mode of 8. I like it. Yes?
If it has to, do you want us to say bimodal in the answer?
Or you just say modes equals. That's fine. You don't have to say bimodal, but that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. So one last measure of center. Put it up there. You just write the word down and see if you guys can tease this out. It's called the mid-range. What's the range? High minus low. What do you think the mid-range is?
The middle.
The middle of those. How do you find the middle of any two numbers?
Divide by. Add them together.
Add them up, divide by 2. So the mid-range is high plus low divided by 2. It's a little bit evil because we're so used to range being subtract those two. Why is mid-range adding? Because they need an average. And you have to add to get an average, right? Some of you guys have this really worried expression. Ask a question or just, continue being worried. I don't know. Okay. So what would the mid-range be for this data here? I heard the right answer. I heard something else. So what's the high plus low divided by 2? Or you could just say what's in between 30 and 10? 20. 20 is the mid-range. Okay. So.
Wait, a question.
Yes.
Isn't that the same as the range then? In this specific case? Because the highest number.
Yeah, in this case it happened to be the same.
But it's not always.
Not always. No. It just happened to come out that way. Yeah. I could do another one. Let's see. Just to make sure you guys get this. So if I had 8, 9, 11, 12, 15, what's the mid-range? 11.5. What's the range? 7.
I thought it was going to be like the range, but half of it? Like in the middle?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Okay. So the name kind of makes sense. The middle of the range. So not half the range, because the range is a distance, but the middle between the low and the high. Mid-range. What's in the middle of this range? I like it. Okay. So, where did I put these guys at? No. They're on that table. What happened to them? Is it this? No. That's freaking me out a little bit. All right, give me a second. I had a pile of papers over there. What did I do? This is always an exciting moment. Old senile professor is like, where do I put my papers? Alright. It's freaking me out. Oh, wait. Yeah, alright. Oh my god. I am senile. So that page I gave you earlier, the other side. Somebody could have said, there's one side of this we haven't done yet, Mr. One. So the other side of that paper from earlier has got stuff on it. So Do you see how there's 4 groups of data up there? So it might be a good idea to get with 3 other people so you can divvy up the work. It's up to you. If you want to be by yourself, you can do 4 times the work. If I were you, I'd find 3 other people and divvy up the work. You guys with me? Everybody's got that sheet. It's the one that's got, says data analysis at the top. It's got 4 groups. Yes, no, maybe so? Some guys really hate working with other people. I understand, I guess. You can get with other people and each do 1 group. You can. Or do them all yourself. It's up to, why are some of you guys looking at me? You can move next to other people and divvy up the work, or start working on it yourself. It's up to you. Oh, look at this. It's happening. Yay.